Mr.
Bond.
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 Bond. James Bond.
Hello all, welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Bondcast. This one is a review of the movie You Only Live Twice. I'm here with Mike today. How are you, Mike?
Not bad, Chris. Mate, we are on our new digs today as well for the first time.
We are. Thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. So if anyone thinks this looks slightly different, this is because we're cheapskates.
We are.
StreamYard wanted to charge us, so we found something that was also free.
That
is why this studio looks slightly different. I'm not beating around the bush.
That could have been a bit more spruced up, Chris, but you are completely honest. So there you go. Yes.
You know, I don't like to cheat our audience. I feel like they're intelligent people and they want to know.
No, but it does mean we are now live on Facebook as well as YouTube, as we promised at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we are. So hello to anyone watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Anyway, Mike, I'm really excited today because we're nearing the end of Sean Connery's run.
I know. How's that happened?
Bittersweet, mate. Bittersweet. But, you know, we've got another movie here today. But before we do, I think we should check into the world of Bond news.
Oh, would it be a podcast without that?
I don't think so. Is it? There can't be anything Bond news related, can there?
Oh, there's always something Bond news related, mate. We just need to dig a bit deeper to find out. So there has been Bond news, absolutely. Yes. And do you know what? We need to start off in the way that we've always highlighted with Bond deaths. It's unfortunately, it always happens when we do Bond news, but you'll find this one come as quite a surprise, Chris. So
yeah, indeed.
Cast your mind back to Die Another Day, okay? Which, let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't actually that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Which is why it's probably more the shocking part. So Michael Madsen, he played the sort of CIA, NSA chief, if you like, Jinx's boss. Unfortunately, passed away at only the age of 67.
Really sad.
That's
in a number of really good roles that I remember him from, not just from James Bond, but as part of the James Bond universe. It's really sad to hear.
It is. So, as with ever, when these things happen, our condolences to Michael's family and friends and the Bond community. It's always a sad day when we lose someone in the world of Bond, isn't it? You know.
It is.
And,
it is.
What is also very appropriate there, Chris. So you remember, if you guys might have watched, I'm sure, we did our Bond car countdown only a couple of weeks ago, which we had such a ball doing, didn't we?
Yeah, it was great fun, wasn't it?
It was a laugh as hell. But when we were looking through some of the cars, ironically enough, this week, the little yellow Dingley Citroen car from For Your Eyes Only.
Yes, I do.
That is now the official car. There's two cars he used for that movie. One of the two cars has gone up for auction. Any idea how much they're expecting it to take?
Oh, it's got in the hundreds, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, in dollars, right? They're expecting the starting bid, 120,000.
Wowzers. That's a piece of Bond history, though, right?
You imagine trying to get that car for 120 grand back in the day. You wouldn't get it for $120, let alone, you know.
It's crazy, but yeah, classic car. Love it.
It is. And what we'll also bear in mind, and we will be digging a bit deeper in this over the year, because this year is the 40th anniversary of A View to a Kill.
It is.
So
it's crazy that it's been that long.
And this is what we always say, though, isn't it? When we've had a franchise running as long as Bond, there is going to be moments when you realise that the film is that old, therefore, so am I. You know, it's quite scary. But yeah, 40 years of anniversary, and a little bit later in the year, guys, myself and Chris, we're going to go to a View to a Kill live screening at a sort of like private cinema to enjoy the event. So there'll be loads on that coming later in the year.
That's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to that showing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to time it with our movie reviews. I think it's going to come a little bit early for that, but I still think regardless, we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, whether we leave that for maybe a Christmas special, and we'll show you guys later, but it will certainly be on this year, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, absolutely.
on that basis
Fantastic.
there, really. But that, my friend, is Bond news, short and sweet for this review.
No, that's great. Oh, it's just so sad to hear about Michael Madsen. It really is.
It is, and
great
it's
actor.
not something you'd expect to see. I mean, I'm not being funny. If you heard like John Glenn had passed on, or something, you go, "Oh God, that's terrible." But you know, he's an elderly gentleman. I get it. Whereas he's not that old.
67 was he? I think.
Yeah.
Crazy. Really crazy. But anyway, we will move on to the main event, the entree, and that is our review of You Only Live Twice. So, You Only Live Twice, 1967. This one was Bond's Sean Connery's fifth outing as James Bond.
It was, and I think it's noticeable in a lot of ways with Connery in this one. It's his fifth time round. I don't think he was out for a money grab. That's pretty obvious to this one, I don't think. But he was probably, I know we say this about all his movies, but it's been a pleasure how we've watched it in such short succession. Watching him progress from quite, I don't know, what's the word, amateur, is that fair to say, in Dr. No? Or confidence might be a better word for it.
Yeah.
To where he is in You Only Live Twice. Because for me, he looked the smoothest ever in every occasion. Fight scenes, womanizing, action scenes. He just seemed to have this role in the back of his pocket straight away.
Oh, I think he did. I think if you look at him from Dr. No to this, he's a very different Bond, I think, in many ways to who he was in the first film. But
evolution.
Yeah, it's an evolution, exactly. It was a necessity because these films have changed slightly as well. I think they're more broader appeal by the time you get to Thunderball and You Only Live Twice. So I do think he changes a little bit, but not necessarily for a negative. But what are your overall thoughts of the movie before we dig into it? How did this movie make you feel when you watched it?
So, as with Thunderball before this, this is not the movie I naturally go to when I'm looking at my box set, okay? Yeah. Not because it's not a good movie, just because I believe in my own personal persona, I believe there's better options in the catalogue of Bond. But, as with Thunderball, I really enjoyed watching You Only Live Twice. I had a ride all the way through it. I loved the Oriental aspect of things. It was so Japanese in every single way, and I think that was wonderful. I think it was cinematically beautiful all the way through it. And I feel like its pacing and action scenes had a bit of a revamp, if you like, because Thunderball was so heavy with all of it. I think it moved so quick, and there was so much going on to keep up with it. Whereas this one had the pacing and everything down to a T, I think.
I can't argue with a lot of that. I think the pacing is noticeably different to Thunderball. It is slightly slower, not in a bad way, but it takes its time to get from A to B. And I think I feel the same as you, that I don't go back to this movie very often. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as Thunderball, but I still got a lot out of this, and there are still bits that maybe I didn't really give the movie credit for, and maybe that's why I didn't go back to it. That it sort of rekindled that when I watched it, and I'm finding that with a lot of these movies actually, that it's reminding me why I should be watching them more.
I feel like this process that we're doing has it's created a new light on the Bond franchise for me, and I'm really I'm watching them with a real different set of eyes. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree with you, and I think that's the whole point, isn't it? But I found the movie really enjoyable. I think that's the thing about Sean Connery's later Bond movies, is that whilst they might not be classics in some respects, they're all very enjoyable movies, and you can get a lot from them. They're all They're all easy to digest, crowd pleasing movies, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
If I might just digress to our chat, Chris, as well. So we've had our good friend, the Collector, popped up on the chat saying, "Hi guys, am I late or are you early?" To answer your question, we are slightly early.
Yeah, yes. We were slightly early. We were just desperate to talk about it.
We couldn't wait, and more to the point, we were sort of clicking our fingers for about 10 minutes. We actually prepared so well. We were like, okay, let's just go for it, really. So,
but we are good, thank you. I hope you are too.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show, Collector, and drop us some messages over the chat and let us know what you think as we go along.
So let's break the movie down a little bit, because I think that if we go through some of the bits of the movie, maybe that will sort of fill out our
I think that's a good
thoughts on it.
idea. Why not? Why not?
What do you think to the setting first? Japan. What did you think to how this film looked and where it was set?
What I think they did really well with this one was the fact that, I think I said it earlier, it was a beautiful setting. I loved it. And I mean, I've got a fascination in real life with Japan, to be honest. So this was right up to my, they were playing to their audience. Do you know what I mean? But I think the way that you look at it, especially like the Bond girls, for example. Now, listen, I need to be very careful with how I say this, because I don't want to be prone. We're not racially motivated in any way, but there's a trend in the world. People think everybody looks the same. I don't think they did. I think each Bond girl looks unique, looked wonderful, looked beautiful. And like Aki, was it Aki the main girl?
Aki.
She was fantastic. She was. I feel like there was a great love between her and Bond. And if she hadn't have been killed, there's quite a possibility. I think she could have been Mrs. Bond.
Well, you might be right. It did feel like there was some real genuine affection there. And while you've mentioned it, let's talk about that attempted assassination, because I feel like that is one of the scenes that I really remember from this movie. And it being such a unique way to deliver poison. Like, for me anyway, I'd never seen that before, sort of dripped down onto a piece of string, through twine onto the lips. And really, it really built up tension, didn't it, as well? Because it got so close to it being on Bond, and then you saw Bond move and Aki sort of roll over and take up that place instead. It's a really sad moment, because you know exactly what's coming. There's no way to avoid it, and neither of them are going to see it. So it's such a sad moment.
The tension, honestly, was so well put together. However they filmed that, it wasn't just some guy blasting with a gun and going gunfire everywhere, like we had at the beginning where he faked his death, of course. It was a total contrast to that. And I think that was the more shocking part of it, because that's something that Bond couldn't have stopped. And let's face it, had it been down to luck and she moved in his place, Bond would have been the one that got killed.
Yeah, absolutely right.
There is no way to fight that. And that's what I found probably where the stakes are greater, if anything, really.
There was a lot of that in this film, that there was some really high stakes, and I think we'll get to the ending at some point with a certain villain that I'm sure we will want to get into. But I feel like I'm taking us on this wild journey and all over the place, so apologies for this. But let's go to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Let's talk about the intro, because no Bond movie is complete without a pre-title sequence. What do we think of that?
And what a title sequence. That's one thing I would say at the beginning of it. So it was short and sweet, wasn't it? Let's be honest. It wasn't some big action sequence. I think it was a shock tactic to everybody. It was back in the day, of course. It was, holy shit, Bond's just been killed like that in the first minute. And obviously, that he's not dead, because there's a whole movie to come. But that leads you more into the trap of, well, how is he dead now?
This is it, and it's how does he come back from this? What's the explanation behind his death?
Alleged death.
Alleged death, correct. Alleged death. But I think the whole beginning section it builds on Thunderball, where Thunderball I felt went, all guns blazing, went crazy with the levels of nuclear war and a real mustache twirling villain, sharks in the water, all this. And then we get into space at the beginning of You Only Live Twice, and them stealing, spacecraft is just so different. And, especially for the 60s, it was so interesting and tapped into that fear of the USSR and US combat, space being the final frontier, I suppose, for want of a better term.
It's a total Cold War movie. We know that. Of course it is. And I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like the space effect in this movie, despite being a lot earlier, was actually better than Moonraker.
I agree. And I think it's subtle. And they tried to do so much in Moonraker, and sometimes you can feel like that falls apart. But no, I thought the space in this was excellent. Really, really good. Maybe not quite like 2001 Space Odyssey good, but certainly for the 60s, very, very acceptable.
And when the poor guy, the astronaut, gets the cable cut and just drifts off into space, and I'm like, that's actually horrific.
It is horrific. That's what I was thinking. I was also thinking, like, is his breathing apparatus been cut? Is he suffocating, or does he have air and he's just trapped for like hours with air?
Which way would you rather go, though? That's the truth, isn't it?
I think I'd rather go quick, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to sit drifting through space to my death. I'd rather just go
no.
cold, drift off to sleep, lose oxygen, and that's it. But it was surprising, and I think, like we just said, a darker option for the bomb makers to use to kill someone. But albeit quite an insignificant character to the plot, but still shocking, you know.
I think so.
And as we then branch into the titles, obviously, we have the legendary Nancy Sinatra.
And I'll go first on this one. I think Nancy Sinatra had a really hard job following Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones. And I don't think this song is as good as Thunderball or Goldfinger. I mean, there aren't many that are as good as Goldfinger, are there?
No, I think it's always that's the level, isn't it? Goldfinger.
Yeah, I think so. Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever. You know, they are real classics, and I mean, a lot of Sean Connery's are classic songs, and I think this one is. I think it's in the slightly lower echelon. She's not as powerful a singer, Nancy Sinatra, and I don't think this song has the same impact that the last two did. But I enjoyed it.
Oh, I did, yeah. I mean, the thing is, right, I think we've mentioned many times on the podcasts, Diamonds Are Forever is not my favourite movie by any level. However, the song is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I can't throw any shade out whatsoever, you know. But I think she had a hard task. You're right. No matter who came after Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones in the 60s, the height at that level, unless you were perhaps the Beatles, for example, you were going to have a hard time, weren't you? Let's be honest. You know, you
were, and maybe they were. Maybe this wasn't even the Sinatra they wanted. Who knows? Sorry, Nancy. I mean, I do like the song. I also think this isn't one of the best musical sort of numbers from a visual perspective as well. I like it. I don't love it. It's not got the sort of the silhouettes in the same way that some of the others have.
But it tones the Japanese title sequence. That's what I think was really imaginative. And I get it. That's going to be a love-hate with some people. You're going to have a total cross between that's brilliant or what the hell's this? That's what people are going to look at, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think I liked it. Just didn't love it. I think it's kind of maybe my feeling for the entire movie a little bit. It was great.
Yeah. I think the song itself, it's catchy, it's iconic. We hear it in voiceovers and documentaries, and I think even people like Top Gear might use it in background music and all that sort of stuff. That is served its purpose, but I do agree it hasn't got the iconic status that some of the other tunes have acquired.
I will say that the 8 bars at the beginning of the song that is played throughout this movie and is sampled by numerous other people is some of the most iconic music that we've ever had in any Bond movie.
Do you mean this bit?
Of course, absolutely. I'm so glad that you had that queued up, mate.
We'll come back to our montage later. However, that was a moment I was like, well, that's definitely going to be needed, isn't it?
And there's another bit of music as well. Like, I think in general, the music is good in this. The incidental music is phenomenal. That sort of that little splash for tense scenes as well. You know, the da 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 da. I think that is awesome as well, and are so iconic to Bond.
It is. Oh, the collector just put as well. He absolutely loves the John Barry 007 theme. I mean, who doesn't?
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Come on, it's amazing. Yeah,
I'd love to see it return as well. Definitely.
The whole da 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 da. That yeah. It's. Do you know? Up until I was probably in my 20s, I didn't like that music. I didn't see the sense in it. And then I found a new sort of love for it, and yeah, I'm totally with you. I love it, absolutely adore it. So, no collector, we're wonderful, we love it here. So, on to the next bit, though, Chris. So, I actually talked about the Bond girl a little bit earlier. Give us your thoughts, mate.
on the Bond girl. I mean, both.
Yeah.
I'll talk both. I think, as we said before about Aki, I think she held the screen really well with our Bond, Sean Connery. I think there was a genuine connection there, and I really believed it. I was really sad when she went, because he clearly wanted that relationship with her to blossom in some way. He was pushing for the marriage to be with her.
He adored her.
You know, Tanaka didn't want that, you know, but I thought she was fantastic and a great actress as well. I thought she held her own on screen.
Yeah, it was Akiko, forgive my pronunciation, Wakabayashi, who played.
I mean, excellent pronunciation from my point of view.
It
was great.
Well, end of the day, I think, like you said, there was a genuine love there, and I feel like, based on the fact that the next one is on a Majesty's Secret Service, and we know there's a marriage there, very weird that they got to that theme a little bit early.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They did.
You know.
But I really liked her. Kissy, I liked. She doesn't have the same impact for me as Aki.
No, I agree.
Another actress that is dubbed by was it Nikki Van der Sil? I can never remember the name.
Oh, Nikki's back.
The same actress that seems to dub all of the Bond girls is back.
She's like last night's curry. She never ever stays in one place. She'll come back, won't she? Every single time.
She will love that.
You know.
That description of her Bond career, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So it's reached that level now, Chris. You know, but
Yeah,
I mean, what are we on? We're six. No, sorry, we are 5 movies in, and yeah, the fact that she's probably got a considerable amount of royalties from these movies.
Let's hope so. I hope so.
It's quite interesting, but yeah, Nikki Van der Sil. Hopefully, we'll see in the nicest possible way less and less of her as the era goes on and on and on.
Let's hope so. For the sake of the people that are actually speaking in the movie.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, we lay claim, but there are some particularly good voices that she's had. So yeah, we'll go with that.
There are. So, how did you feel about the Bond girls?
I'm much the same as you, to be honest with you. Not a dramatic amount to add there, but Aki was my girl in this movie. I think she was wonderful.
Great.
Shocking that she got killed relatively early, but she brought a lot to the plot. The way that she was a deemed agent, she could drive better than Bond, I think, if I'm being honest. Her skill was fantastic with that.
In that white sports car.
Oh yeah, I forget the brand of it.
He was dead without her being there.
Well, she saved him twice early on, you know.
Yeah.
And I think what was quite good was when they had the car chase with the helicopter, Japanese style. Come on, just pick the car up, take it away, drop it in the ocean.
Drop in the ocean.
Oh, it was just brilliant. And I think Connery delivered that line just like admirable. He's like, just a drop in the ocean. You know. So yeah, and yeah, I forget the other character's name, so because she's quite insignificant to me. But she didn't bring a lot to the movie, if I'm being honest.
What about Helga Brandt, the red-headed sort of agent?
Right, now Helga was quite interesting, and I think it was really ironic that they went with a redhead Bond villainatrix straight after Thunderball.
Yeah, it felt like you could mistake it for being the same character.
Absolutely, and there's not a lot between the actresses, is there really?
There's not.
And I mean by they're both quite good as well.
Yeah, they are.
But they're Spectre assassins. They're redheads. They're side by side on movies, and they both got a killer way to try and kill Bond. I mean, come on, drop him out of a plane. Why not?
This number one that we've never seen before. He seems to have a taste in agents, doesn't he? He's got a type.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? Really, the whole. But you do sense, though. I feel like after Thunderball, if you go into some headcanon here, I feel like after Thunderball being so like explosive at the end, I think it really hurt Spectre, and I think the organisation is probably not as powerful as it has been before. For starters, it's stealing technology; it's not using its own technology.
Yeah, it almost feels like the actions that Spectre are taking in this movie are almost like a last gasp Hail Mary. You know, this is our big shot. You know, this has to go right, or else we're cowering in the shadows again.
Extortion. I think that he even says in the line, "Extortion is my business."
Yes.
And that's what he thrives on. And we'll go into number one in a minute for you. But I do feel like Spectre has gone for a real good, evolution itself from Doctor No to where we are. With the whole Doctor No's been killed, avenge him, disappear into the shadows a little bit. Then they go for one big coup to try and take over nuclear arms. That fails spectacularly. And now they're trying to recoup their losses. And I think whether that was intentional or not, that's a really good, what's the word, storyline for a 60s franchise.
I think the storyline really does. It's a period, it's a piece of its time, isn't it? But I really do think that it's got a great story and it plays out so well.
I know that we're skirting around number one, and I'll be really careful, aren't we?
Look, I think we're going to get onto number one in just a second. Sorry, my T-shirt keeps disappearing. I keep becoming like this floating head.
You are a live green screen, aren't you, Chris? Yeah.
Before we get to the incredible ending and the reveal of number one, let's just talk a little bit about the middle section. This idea of him as sort of again playing somebody else, being a spy, trying to get information, meeting Mr. Osato, and that whole sort of middle interaction with the sort of the being saved by Aki. I think there's some really great fight scenes in here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about his fight with Peter Maivia, The Rock's grandfather? I feel like that is such an iconic fight scene.
How the hell did he do that under the leg thing?
Oh, I've no idea. How was he picking up? Even James Bond was picking up a sofa, and I was like, "Wow, what's going on here?"
Connery, I'll tell you now. But, two pivotal fights. You are right. The Rock's grandfather, which I didn't know it was him, by the way. And then we've got Hans later on in the movie, haven't we? But in terms of the first one, the sword fight, I think that was edgy seat stuff. That rivals something you see in movies nowadays, any day.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that fight scene is fantastic. There are some fight scenes in this movie that are just breathtaking. I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit here.
Go on.
That rooftop fight scene where Bond fights his way through, 8 or 10 different henchmen. The one shot, long tracking shot, clearly on a helicopter or something taking
how
that
shot. Was filmed.
Single take, brilliant scene.
Yeah.
Every punch he throws from that high angle looks like it connects as well. It looks really realistic.
If you dig in deep, you're looking for the miss, aren't you?
You are.
It's just like
it's different angles and it's at height, but no, looks great.
It was incredibly well done, and the collector's also just put, by the way, that he also has a guilty pleasure for You Only Live Twice. So
no, that's Lorenzo.
Lorenzo! I'm so sorry,
Lorenzo's
Lorenzo.
Here.
We are great to see you again, Lorenzo. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good to have you here.
It is an absolutely. We just been saying we've having a ball play watching this movie, and I don't take the guilty pleasure from there at all. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, I do think that it feels more like a guilty pleasure when you've got films like Goldfinger and From Russia with Love in this same sort of section that feel like really highbrow Bond classics, and this one maybe doesn't feel that way. I think we've both come to this and Thunderball, and it's rekindled a little bit of love that maybe we didn't think we had for these movies, or maybe we'd done them dirty a little bit. What do you think?
But I mean, I think that's totally true. The fight though with the Rock's grandfather was just edgy as seats. But then later in the movie we have Hans, don't we? Number one's henchman, if you like, who was, if I'm being honest, seemed like a bit of a Red Grant rebrand.
Yeah,
maybe.
He did a bit, didn't he?
Not necessarily a criticism, but I think it was great to see Bond handle the fight at the beginning really appropriately. He had it nailed, and then for some reason outmatched later on.
I think in that middle section as well, there's some really lovely, the way that they're just interacting with each other. The scene with Mr. Osato when he first meets him. I can't remember his name. Was it Fisher that he called himself? I can't remember.
Yes, Mr. Fisher from something chemicals. I can't remember the name now. But
I can't remember. But when he's sitting at that chair and he's being X-rayed and he sees he's got it, he's got the gun, and he says, You take risks, right? Do you take risks, Mr. Fisher? You're taking one right now.
Right now.
Yeah, I love that scene.
And it does make you go, you see Bond unnerved, like, oh, what have I done? How have I slipped? That sort of thing, But I think that was quite a joy to see. And then as soon as he walked out at the office, he's in hearing range. He goes, kill him. I don't think Bond had even left the room.
No, I don't think he had either. I think Helga was like, what? Give it a minute.
She's like, I expect Helga to go, shh.
He's still here.
Wait, he's still there.
Still sitting in his chair.
No, that was so well put together from there for you. But then that leads into the car chase we mentioned earlier, and it's just, this is what I mean by its pacing. It nailed everything right. It had the story, it had the flow of the characters to get connected to people, nice paced into that, action sequences all between it. That's what I found a real joy about keeping up with You Only Live Twice.
Yeah. You're right there. I think the pacing, I think the tempo of the movie was really tight, and it just flowed, didn't it? It didn't feel like a long movie.
Yeah,
hour
it's
and
probably
56 minutes, I think it was.
I don't think it's quite as long as Thunderball, from what I
don't
understood.
think so. Maybe 10 minutes shorter.
Yeah, but still, is incredibly enjoyable.
So I think before we one more thing before we get on to the ending. The Bond films that we notice in the 60s and then moving into the 70s tended to feel like they had to have one centerpiece gadget that tended to be part of the film. So whether that was like a crocodile submarine or it was a we know
where this is going, don't we?
This movie had one of my favorite gadgets, which was that helicopter,
Little Nelly,
and the interaction between Bond and Q was probably one of the best interactions. It's such a feel good moment seeing Q turn up and them have that little banter.
Yeah, almost. Now he's got less tolerant, but their relationship's grown.
Yes, it has. It's so much more familial than it was in Goldfinger, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's always a pleasure to see. I mean, Desmond Llewellyn is always going to be the definitive Q, no matter who comes later, whether it's Ben Whishaw again or another character. I don't think anybody will do as well as Desmond Llewellyn in Q ever.
No, and it is a great gadget. It serves the story well, and I think what an incredible set piece in the air as well.
Yeah, its plot made sense to the gadget. That's one thing I think is a rarity in some of the Bond movies. They just chucked in for convenience, whereas it was used ultimately for surveillance. But I love Bond's little quip at the end where 4 big shots made proper advances towards her, where she defended her honour in great success.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It is brilliant. Really cool. I love it's little things like I love when Q is talking him through the different items. On the different gadgets within the helicopter.
Yeah,
Bond's just being really matter of fact about what's the range on that? What's the range on that? And it's things like you don't hear that in movies now, but
he's a professional. And he knows how to. And if you look as well, when those flamethrowers go backwards, he's watching. He isn't just firing them randomly. He's waiting for the range. And I think that was a nice little nod to his question.
I think it probably is as well, isn't it? I think you're right there.
Did you? Have I just enlightened you there, Chris? Did you not realise that?
Mate, you always enlighten me.
It's always a renewed pleasure of our podcast, aren't they?
It is. I mean, so I think if you're happy to go along on this journey with me, I think we are. I think we're nearing the volcano, are we not?
Oh, we are, and. What a masterpiece. This is probably, to me, this is the John Glenn set. This is what I always think of it when I hear the name John Glenn. That's the set that I always think of, and it won't ever replace my brain with anything else.
It is the quintessential evil villain Leia, and it is a thing of beauty. What a set this must have been to be inside. It is huge and gorgeous.
That is what every Bond villain hopes to aspire to, but will always fall short.
Yeah, I think little young Scaramanga is sitting in his bedroom and he's got that poster on his wall. One day, when I grow up, I'm having a base like that.
In 8 years' time, I will be able to do that. And
Dad, I'm gonna get a base like that. I am, and he says, "You'll never
get a base like that, son. You'll never aspire to much. Only $1 million a hit.
Yeah. You're not evil villain material."
But then that leads us. Should we address the elephant? Number one, mate. Number one.
Who is he?
We've been hearing about him from the beginning of Doctor No.
The collector's pointed out as well, sorry, just about the layer, it cost the entire budget of Doctor No alone. You're absolutely right, it did.
Yeah.
And doesn't it show? I mean, it looks expensive. It looks incredible.
It is. And I think what's really clever is it isn't just the deep, canon of it. It's the hiding part of it. Like the guns in the cannon in the trench area. It's the rock effect. It's the sea going over it, the trapdoor, like Thunderbirds in the pool and all that. It ticked all the boxes for the era that movie existed in.
There was that wonderful villa, like the office built into the wall and the steps.
Yes.
And it looked so 60s, but like it looked like a penthouse you'd see, in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah,
and then into the inside of a volcano. And
then to the control room, you had the stairway down the side.
Yes, the stairway was all just beautiful. Yeah, and just to point out, thank you, Lorenzo, for those kind words as well. That's really lovely of you to say. We're really enjoying doing this, so it's really nice of you to say that.
Oh, thank you, Lorenzo. That's really kind.
Yeah, so I think this was great. But it led up, you're going, wow, this is incredible. Who is number one? And it is some bald bloke, right?
Well, I think Lorenzo let the name out earlier on, but Donald Pleasance was, of course, to me, he is Blofeld. He is the number one quintessential Blofeld, and I love watching him appear with his scar down his eye. Yeah. The creepiness in his voice. I mean, evidently it's not the same actor that's been there before, but the character itself, it's good to get an unearthed moment where he's kept in the shadows until that last minute, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. But I love the points that have been made in the live chat as well about how is that guy scary in some respects? Like, he's tiny.
He is. I think his influence is what makes him scary.
He's a real short king.
He's not a physical threat, is he? Not a physical fighter.
No.
However, when we played 007 Legends, he was a bit of a fighter. Do you remember in the cable car?
He was. That was Kojak fighting you, though, wasn't it? The other thing about this guy, it still amazes me when I watch this film and I'm watching Donald Pleasance play Blofeld, and I'm like, I love this. I love that he was Blofeld in like 5 movies, and then you go, oh no, this was the only movie he was Blofeld in.
Yeah, it's the one you always think of, isn't he?
Yeah.
Even later on, you get that cameo of Blofeld in For Your Eyes Only at the beginning. Yeah. That still looks like Donald Pleasant from the back, I think.
Of course,
the way they've influenced
it. That's the look they've got. I mean, that's the Dr. Evil look, right? That is
absolutely
I keep saying quintessential, but there's so much about Sean Connery's Bond that is the epitome of Bond, and is the notes that further Bond films follow.
Yeah, well, the reality is, don't forget, with them being so early, being the first movies around on the roster, if you like, they are always going to be compared when you go into the future. Even with the Amazon takeover, they're still going to be referred to, whether it's by Am himself or by the fans. Yeah. And we are such a passionate, I think, fan base Bond fans are. And this is why we don't determine the Bond movies by its era or the actor. We enjoy it for the character and the thrill.
And I think that, I mean, they in subsequent Bond movies, they have that lovely excuse of why Blofeld looks different. He's plastic surgery. He's trying to make himself look different. Well, you're not making yourself look different enough. Maybe try putting a different suit on, mate.
Maybe don't take the face of somebody I met in the same movie in Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, there's that as well. You killed 5 minutes in. Put the cat down for one. If you want to look different.
Yes. Blofeld, if you want to stroke some pussy...
Wear a pair of jeans for once, Blofeld.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Come on. It was, honestly, I feel like, though, that back to Donald Pleasance, he's not physical threatening, but his absolute short creepiness and the power that he inspires, that's why he's scary.
Exactly that. He's powerful. He's unpredictable. He's intelligent and he's vicious.
And he's not Bond's brother either.
No, he's not. He's not Bond's brother. He's not Michael Caine's son. He's not any of those things.
Yeah. I mean, what we can take from this, though, is the fact that when you look at we'll go back to the volcano there, that was probably the best setting, I think, to have a final battle on, and a scaled battle. And I think the thing I was worried about at the beginning of the movie when I first saw it again, when he was he was like torpedoed out of the submarine, I thought, maybe they've got a little bit of budget left over from Thunderball, so they're going to stick him underwater still. They've got a couple of like tanks left over or whatever, but to put him into a fight in the volcano lair at the end, and to have Bond as involved as any one of those samurais or ninjas was perfect.
It was great, and those ninjas as well. I don't know if this is of any interest to you, but you might have seen like Vic Armstrong was one of the ninjas, and he's like a legendary stunt person, especially in the UK. Like Vic Armstrong was. I hope I'm not speaking wrong here. Vic Armstrong was Harrison Ford's stunt person throughout all of the Indiana Jones movies. So right. He is a very, the legacy of stunt person. He's the king in a lot of respects.
The king. I like that.
Blofeld is now the CEO of Cats Protection. You're absolutely right. The collector. The guy's obsessed. I've got cats, and I wouldn't. I put them.
No one goes that far, do they? Let's be honest. And like as I said, he might be slightly perfectionist here because it's all the white cat as well. It's not just a black cat or a tabby or nothing like that, is it? It's always a bright white cat with some diamonds on its collar.
Yeah, it is. Might be wrong, but I think 70% of white cats are born deaf as well. So just saying. Or maybe
you'd have to be to sit with Donald Pleasance all that time, wouldn't you?
Look, I'm no vet, but
but I'm going to say it.
I'm going to say it anyway. You saw it on YouTube. It's fact.
I often wonder though, if MI6 got access to that cat and used some Q technology to make him talk, he could be the ultimate informant, couldn't he?
I don't know why we didn't see robot cats in subsequent movies. I feel like Amazon, if you're listening,
it's up here. Copyright Ultimate Bondcast.
I think so. We'll take a set visit. That's fine.
Absolutely. Or just put us in the credits. We're up for that.
So, I think this is. This is the best version of Ernst Stavro Blofeld that we have seen personally. I think of the other three other actors, 3.5 if you count the back in For Your Eyes Only. I feel like this is the best Blofeld that we've had by a long way.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. And I think what also lends the dramatic part to this is he gets away. That's what you want to know. You're like, oh my god, he's not done. And he goes away in that little cart, blows up the volcano. John Glenn's in tears, going, no, not my set, and everything. And he's going to live to fight another day. He'll be a thorn in Bond's side once more.
He will be, won't he? I mean, he absolutely will be. And I always look forward to seeing him again in films.
Now, can I ask you a canon question?
Just ask, sorry, just before that, I kept thinking it was Ken. Was it not Ken Adam that did the set? Who's John Glenn?
Oh, sorry, John Glenn was director, wasn't he? Sorry, you're right. Apologise.
Oh no, John Glenn can take some credit for it, but I want to give Ken Adams a shout.
Ken Adams was set designer. I'm so sorry, I got that wrong. Yes.
Anyway,
you're
right.
I'll
let you carry on now.
Canon question for you, Chris. So this is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? So You Only Live Twice ends. Blofeld gets away. Now the question is, would you put Diamonds Are Forever straight after this movie instead of Her Majesty's Secret Service? Because I don't see it as being like a revenge type movie. There's no references to Tracy. Bond's pretty cool about it, and he starts the movie off by hunting Blofeld. And the fact that he's got the face of Charles Gray, I'm just wondering, on a fan theory, would we put Diamonds Are Forever after You Only Live Twice?
So the way I'll answer it is, I think I will always watch them in chronological order or in release order. But I think if you said I always watch Diamonds Are Forever next and then I watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service after, I don't think it makes any real difference to the feeling. It probably brings a little bit more cohesion, consistency to it, actually, if you did. Because it finishes Sean Connery off and then brings Lord Lazenby in. but I wouldn't watch it in that order. But I can see why you would.
Oh, I agree. From a chronological point of view, we would. But I think that's what I love about Bond theories, as Lorenzo prides his channel on, is the fact that going into canon and fan theories, you could go on forever, and we will explore this in the future, guys. We will put it on our next one of our podcasts and look at potential timeline theories and understand them a little bit better.
So I mean, I will say that the collectors brought up a really good point. I wasn't going to point it out to you, but John Glenn didn't direct this movie. I don't think he directed Living Daylights and For Your Eyes Only, but I think it was Lewis Gilbert, was it not? The director.
Oh, was it? We've got IMDb up. Let's have a little look.
IMDb up and have a look.
Collector, you are right. You deserve a place at our table, mate. Unfortunately.
Well, I think you should take Mike's place at the table because
today I've failed, haven't I?
What's he doing?
But what we also we are quite amazed by. We notice that Roald Dahl did the screenplay of this movie?
Oh, I did. Yeah, Roald Dahl did do the screenplay for this. Roald Dahl did a few screenplays in his life, didn't he?
He did, but you don't automatically jump to this one. But I always remember when I see the title, like, yes, I remember being shocked by that the first time.
I think I always watch the movie, and I always remember Roald Dahl did a Bond script, but I can never remember which one. And then it always comes up, and I go, oh yeah, okay. But I think he was quoted as saying that I only ever do screenplays to make money. If you see me make a screenplay, it's because I'm short on money or something like that. He did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as well, didn't he? I think
he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Can I just say, there's also one sort of unsung hero in this movie that I always really enjoyed in this one, and it was Lois Maxwell's performance twice, each end of the movie, because she's never been in the movie twice up until this movie, hence why it's called You Only Live Twice. But if you notice at the beginning of the movie, she's very very much keen to hold her own with Bond. It's the Japanese, and you need to be better. And then at the end, where M's like, tell him to come aboard, coming down below, she went, it'll be my pleasure, sir. Start getting off with the girl on top of the submarine.
Yeah, I think Lois Maxwell is fantastic as Miss Moneypenny.
Definitely one of her more involving roles, I think, this time. This one was.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like we've smashed through this movie, mate. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we've not touched upon with this film?
To be honest with you, no. I think we have got to the point, because there's been so much in this movie to go through. We've sort of sped run it intentionally, but I think it just shows a passion of what's to come. And we know, obviously, joining in sometime it'll be August or maybe September, it'll be on a Master Secret Service, and that will be an equal joy to go through, because as we pointed out on our podcast a few months ago, Chris, he's a better Bond to Roger Moore, apparently, according to me, George Lazenby. But I don't know. No, it's a very unpopular opinion, and I don't actually believe it. I was trying to cause some controversy.
You really did cause controversy. I noticed that of our 74 subscribers, one left.
Yes, yeah,
it must have been
absolutely disgusted at the concept of that.
So we'll wrap this up with the important question of rating. But I will say, because we've changed surroundings, we did say we were going to try and get a graphic showing our percentages of previous, or our marks for our previous Bond movies.
Correct.
Out of 10. Yeah. We haven't managed to get it for this one. We will get it for the next one. But give me your final thoughts, your mark out of 10.
Right, and we're going to stay true to what we've said, isn't it, about the whole, we can't just have 9s and 10s everywhere. We need to look at this from there. So, look, all things considered, and looking at the screenplay, the acting, the pacing, I would probably go out of 10. I would be a good 7. I'd say 7's fair.
Okay, I think 7's fair. I'm going to go a little lower. I enjoyed it less than Thunderball, more than Dr. No. I can't remember what my Dr. No one was now. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. No. That's just out of the Bond movies. I do still think it's a great film.
Are we going to start doing points now? We're going to do 6.2, 6.7.
6.25. I think we're going to have to at some point. 6.75 I'm going to give it.
It'll be interesting to see how we pick this up. And I think what we probably do, Chris, is we will go back some of our podcasts and pick up the ratings and make the graphic. We'll work it out behind the scenes,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get it sorted. Don't worry. No. I'm here in my bricked up living room, so I've got plenty of time to do it.
Nothing to do, no life to live. Yeah,
no life to live. I can't get out of this room, so
Well, hopefully, yeah, we will perfect our new surroundings as we do more and more podcasts this year, guys. But we really thank you for your input this today as well.
It's been really fun. I've really enjoyed. Hopefully, the dual streaming has worked. I'm going to look forward to seeing whether how this worked on Facebook, and if it's something that we continue doing, because I think it's really exciting if we can. And we will start looking at. We were talking earlier off air about the potential for really starting to do podcast versions, so you can listen to us when you're driving in your car, or you're at the gym, or you're in the bath with a glass of wine,
cooking some dinner or whatever. And just always be on the world of 007 with the Ultimate Bondcast. That's what we're aiming for.
This is it.
We will look
this
at
is
more
our global
solutions.
domination. This is
it
us.
is, yeah, copyright.
So this has been great, mate. Is there anything that you want to plug before we go?
No, nothing crazy, nothing more than the usual. Just to say thanks for people contributing today. The collector, Lorenzo, it's been great to see Lorenzo resurface, which has been wonderful. And yeah, more of this to come. We've got some really fun stuff in our pipeline that we're going to make happen this year. And just want to say, yeah, look out for our review next month. And we've also got our next part From Russia with Love on the PS2 due this coming Friday. So check me out for that one. It's going to be a belter.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mike. I will echo those words. I think this has been great. And thank you to everybody who's joined us on the live chat today. It has been a joy to interact with you while we've been doing this. I think that I'm just so pleased with the people that have been watching us. Anybody that gets anything out of this is great. And it's really touching that anybody even listens to us at all. So we will continue to do this as long as people continue to listen.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I've absolutely enjoyed today. I'm looking forward to the next movie. Let's hope that it is a banger. I'm sure it will be.
It is. It's a controversial movie, and I think we're going to dig quite deep.
I think so. But that's it today. Thank you all for joining us. You've been watching the Bondcast.
The Ultimate Bondcast, and check out our new titles. Subscribe.
Join the Ultimate Bondcast now. Monthly Bond theme updates, movie reviews, James Bond gaming, news and updates, and so much more. Hit subscribe now and join in the show.